In a world full of noise, desire, and distraction, the greatest journey is not out there. It's the quiet return to yourself. What if the key to mastering your mind, emotions, and life has nothing to do with chasing more and everything to do with seeing clearly? Before this year ends, something deep within you is calling, not for control, but for mastery, not for more force, but more understanding. In this video, you'll learn 10 powerful Buddhist lessons to help you silence the chaos inside and build a stronger, calmer, more powerful self, no matter what life throws at you. These aren't surface-level hacks. They're ancient insights, rarely spoken truths, and spiritual shifts that rewire how you think, feel, and act. And by the end of this video, you won't just feel different, you'll know exactly how to walk a new path with patience, clarity, and inner strength. Stay till the end for a timeless reflection that can realign your entire mindset. If you're ready to take back your mind, type, "My mastery begins now." 1. Unmask the 5 inner thieves. What if your suffering isn't random, but the result of 5 invisible forces stealing your clarity? Every day, you wake up with a storm in your chest, goals in your mind, but doubts in your bones. You try to focus, but your attention slips like water through your fingers. The problem isn't your lack of ambition, it's the war within. Buddhism teaches us that before you can master your world, you must first unmask the 5 inner thieves. These are the 5 hindrances: desire, aversion, sloth, restlessness, and doubt. They don't shout, they whisper. They don't break the door down, they pick the lock while you're asleep. Picture your mind as a still lake. You look into it hoping to see your reflection clearly. But each of these hindrances is like a stone tossed into the water, rippling the surface, distorting your vision, clouding your inner truth. Desire chases pleasure endlessly, never satisfied, always craving more. Aversion builds walls of resistance against discomfort and pain. Sloth drains your drive, disguising comfort as peace. Restlessness pulls your mind in 100 directions, never letting you be still. And doubt? It's the most dangerous. It questions your worth, your path, your every step. Clarity isn't added. It's revealed when noise fades. These hindrances don't live outside of you. They live in you. And yet, you are not them. Buddhism doesn't tell you to fight them. It teaches you to see them. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Sit in silence. Imagine each hindrance as a stone in your palm. Drop them into the still lake of your mind. Watch the ripples form and then fade. The peace underneath is always there. You just forgot. Ask yourself, which of these hindrances controls me most often? Is it the craving for more? The urge to escape discomfort? The tiredness that isn't really physical but spiritual? The anxiety of a racing mind? Or the voice that tells you you'll never be enough? What would your life look like if just one of them faded away? How much energy would return? How much clarity? Before 2025 ends, master this first, your own mind. Because if you don't, it will master you day by day, excuse by excuse, until your life becomes a cage you built, stone by stone. Let this be the year you unmask the thieves, drop the stones, and return to the stillness that was always yours. Discipline is not about control. It's about reclaiming the peace that distraction stole from you. 2. Turn emotion into enlightened awareness. Can emotion become your teacher instead of your trigger? Most people go through life reacting. One wrong word, one cold glance, one missed opportunity, and suddenly they're consumed. Anger flares, sadness floods, anxiety takes over. We think we're free, but we're actually enslaved. By emotions, we never learn to understand. But Buddhist wisdom says, emotions are not the enemy. They're messengers. Emotions are visitors. Some arrive loud, but all can leave quietly. They knock to tell us something. The problem is, we keep inviting them to move in. Picture this. Emotions are like clouds. They drift across the sky. Some are dark, heavy and stormy. Others are light and soft. But no matter what kind of cloud appears, the sky itself remains untouched. That sky is your awareness. It holds everything without resistance. It doesn't panic when clouds arrive, nor does it cling when they pass. The moment you stop identifying with your emotions and start witnessing them, you take the first step towards self-mastery. When you feel triggered, pause. In that space between reaction and response, transformation begins. Silently say, "This is not me. This is passing." Anger may rise, but you don't have to become angry. Sadness may swell, but you don't have to drown in it. When you observe rather than absorb, emotion becomes a guide, not a prison. It shows you your inner wounds, your hidden beliefs, the parts of you still waiting to be healed. Ask yourself now, what emotion usually hijacks your peace? Is it resentment, fear, guilt, or perhaps shame? The silent emotion that never screams, but always weighs you down. And now ask, what is this emotion trying to wake you up to? Anger might be showing you where your boundaries are being violated. Sadness may be revealing what truly matters to you. Fear often points to the parts of your life that lack clarity and trust. This isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about alchemizing them, about learning to sit with the storm without being swept away. Before 2025 ends, make it your mission not to suppress how you feel, but to see through it. Let emotion knock, let it speak, but don't let it lead. That role belongs to awareness. Mastery doesn't mean silence of emotion. It means rising above it with the stillness of the sky. 3. Harness the power of thought deliberately. Do you control your mind, or does it run on autopilot? Most people don't realize it, but their thoughts are not tools. They're tyrants. You wake up in the morning, and before you even touch the ground, your mind floods you with reminders of what you lack, what you fear, and what you failed to do yesterday. But here's a truth Buddhism whispers. A thought is not a command, it's a suggestion. And you, not your thoughts, are the one who decides which suggestions become your reality. The mind, in its raw form, is like a wild elephant, powerful, restless, and easily startled. Left untamed, it destroys the peace of your inner village. But with gentle, deliberate training, it becomes your strongest ally. The key isn't to silence the mind, it's to guide it. With mindfulness, with attention, with patience. That's where power lives. Start with this simple practice. Sit in stillness, even for 5 minutes, and every time a thought comes, name it. Like a passing bird flying across your field of awareness. Fear, doubt, desire. Don't resist it. Don't chase it. Just observe. Like clouds in the sky, like leaves on a stream. This is the practice of becoming the watcher, not the reactor, the one who sees but does not get swept away. What thoughts repeat daily without your permission? I'm not enough. I'll never get there. What if I fail? These are not truths, they're habits, mental loops installed by fear and repetition. But just as they were planted, they can be replaced. Ask yourself, what new thought could I install today? What if instead of "I can't," you chose "I'm learning"? What if instead of "I'm overwhelmed," you breathed and said, "One step at a time"? Thought by thought, you redesign your mind, and in doing so, you reclaim your life. This isn't wishful thinking, it's inner architecture. You are not at the mercy of your mental noise. You are the one who listens, selects, and builds. Before 2025 ends, decide to stop being a passenger in your own mind. Choose to take the reins. It won't be easy, but each time you return to awareness, each time you name the thought instead of becoming it, you grow stronger, calmer, and more intentional. The mind doesn't need to be silent. It needs to be trained. 4. Channel energy into aligned action. Why do we waste energy on resistance instead of transformation? You say you're tired, burned out, unmotivated. But the truth is, it's not because you lack energy, it's because you're leaking it. Most people spend their days tangled in frustration, overthinking, comparison, and complaints. They don't realize their energy is a sacred currency, spent second by second on things that don't align with who they truly want to become. As Buddhist wisdom reminds us, energy flows where attention settles. The question is, where has your attention been living? Your attention is like sunlight. Wherever it shines, something grows. But the problem is, most of us are unconsciously watering weeds. We focus on what's missing, what went wrong, who didn't support us, or what might go wrong next. Slowly, we drain our power, feeding fear instead of faith. Imagine how your life would change if that same energy was channeled into building instead of breaking yourself down. Start here. Every time you catch yourself complaining, pause, take a breath. Then ask yourself, what could I build with this energy instead? That complaint, that irritation, that judgment, it's a spark. Misused, it becomes a fire of destruction. Redirected, it becomes the flame of purpose. You can turn frustration into strategy. You can turn disappointment into discipline. The energy is already there. It's waiting for direction. Think deeply. What drains you most, and how can you redirect it? Is it constant comparison? The pressure to prove your worth? The fear of what others think? These mental loops don't deserve your energy. What does? Your craft, your healing, your inner peace, your goals that have been waiting not for more time, but for more presence. Mastery begins not by adding more to your life, but by subtracting what doesn't serve the mission. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a block of stone. Every chip removed brings him closer to the masterpiece hidden inside. Your life is the same. The energy you free from mindless reactions can be used to sculpt a more powerful, purposeful version of you. Not someday, now. Before 2025 ends, choose to reclaim your energy. Make every ounce of it serve something higher, something aligned. Don't let another year pass, leaking life into distractions. Instead, focus like sunlight on what you want to grow. You don't need more energy. You need better direction. 5. Choose patience. Like a warrior chooses stillness. What if patience is not passive, but powerful? In a world that worships speed, we've forgotten the strength it takes to wait. Everyone wants quick success, instant results, fast healing, but growth doesn't obey your deadline. It follows its own rhythm, like the sun rising over a silent mountain. The strongest force, Buddhism teaches, is the one that can wait without shrinking. Patience isn't weakness, it's restraint with purpose, it's power tamed. Think of a warrior, not the one who strikes first, but the one who stands still, calm, alert, deliberate. His silence isn't fear, it's control. His stillness isn't indecision, it's awareness. Real mastery is when you have every reason to rush, panic, react, but you choose not to. Like a mountain does not rush the sunrise, you remain. You breathe, you allow. That's the mark of inner strength. Patience, in its highest form, is trust. Trust in timing. Trust in your preparation. Trust that what's meant for you cannot be taken and what's not cannot be forced. The next time life tests you, try this. Before you speak, before you decide, before you react, hold your breath for just 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, you'll meet your higher self. You'll notice how quickly your lower self wants to speak, defend, escape, attack. But when you don't, you disarm the chaos. You rise above it. Ask yourself now, where are you being rushed by fear? Is it in your career, your healing, your relationships? Most mistakes aren't made from lack of knowledge. They're made from impatience. We abandon the process because we can't stand the silence between effort and result. But silence is where alignment lives. You do not grow a seed by shouting at it. You grow it by watering and waiting. How would patience change your outcome? Would it help you make wiser choices, speak less but with more power, protect your peace instead of chasing validation? The disciplined mind is not one that works faster. It's one that works cleaner. And that clarity comes when you stop forcing life and start flowing with it. Before 2025 ends, choose to train your patience like a warrior trains his calm. Be steady in chaos, unmoved in conflict, quiet when everyone is loud, strong when everything seems uncertain. That's not giving up, it's rising above. Patience isn't waiting, it's preparing in silence for the moment that matters most. 6. Build unshakable will from inner silence. What if real willpower has nothing to do with pushing harder? We've been taught that strength is about force. Grit your teeth, hustle harder, grind through the pain. But the truth is, many who push the hardest are simply trying to outrun the noise in their heads. They mistake urgency for clarity. But Buddhism reveals something deeper. True will is born from clarity, not chaos. Not from screaming louder inside, but from listening more deeply in silence. Will is not a sword. It's not about slicing through obstacles with aggression. It's more like the unseen roots of a tree. They don't move, don't speak, don't show off, but they hold everything steady when the wind howls. When the storm comes, the tree doesn't panic. It doesn't beg for calm. It just stays rooted. That's what unshakable will looks like. Not effort, but alignment. Every time you sit in silence and say, I choose what I become, you strengthen those roots. Not through motivation, but through meditation, through awareness. You stop being controlled by the storm of thoughts, fears, and distractions. You start responding instead of reacting. That's when willpower becomes natural, not a struggle, but a current flowing in the direction of your deepest truth. Ask yourself, what's one thing you've postponed mastering? Is it your health, your focus, a skill you keep saying you'll learn one day? Now ask, what fear is stronger than your will and why? Is it fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear that you'll finally see who you really are? These fears grow loud when your mind is chaotic, but when you enter silence, their power fades. Clarity cuts through confusion, and from clarity, will is born. Most people wait for the right energy to show up, but the truth is, you generate that energy by making space for it. The more you return to stillness, the more unshakable you become. No rush, no force, just firm, calm intention. You no longer need to shout your goals, you embody them. You no longer chase, because you know you're already aligned with the path that's meant for you. Before 2025 ends, stop trying to power through life. Sit, breathe, listen, choose. Not out of desperation, but from knowing. Build a will that cannot be shaken, because it comes not from ego, but from essence. The strongest will doesn't scream. It whispers with certainty from the silence within. 7. Face restlessness with deep-rooted presence. Why do we run from the moment we're in? Not physically, but mentally. The constant urge to check your phone, refresh your feed, think about the next task, the next goal, the next escape. It's not boredom, it's restlessness. A silent anxiety that whispers, anywhere but here. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, what you avoid now, you meet again later. No matter how fast you run, you can't outrun yourself. The moment you keep avoiding is the very moment that holds your freedom. Restlessness is like wind. It swirls, pushes, distracts. It pulls your attention away from the now and tosses it into a future that doesn't exist yet, or a past you can't change. But presence is the stone, heavy, grounded, unmoved. It doesn't fight the wind, it simply stays. Imagine this: the chaos swirls around you, but you remain planted at the center. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you've stopped running. You've decided to be here. That's where mastery begins. Not in control, but in stillness, in choosing not to react. Try this. For 1 minute, do absolutely nothing but breathe. No fixing, no planning, no escaping, just be. At first, your mind will scream for stimulation. It'll throw thoughts at you like pebbles hitting a drum. But if you stay, if you breathe, something shifts. The noise loses its grip. The wind keeps blowing, but it no longer moves you. Now, reflect deeply. What do you escape from most often? Is it loneliness, self-doubt, the feeling that you're falling behind? Restlessness doesn't come from the outside. It rises when the inside is uncomfortable. But here's the paradox. Running from discomfort feeds it. Sitting with it dissolves it. The pain doesn't deepen when faced. It transforms. And what if being here right now is already enough? What if the peace you seek isn't hidden in a distant future, but buried under your avoidance of this very moment? That's the Buddhist path, not chasing, but arriving, over and over again. Before 2025 ends, choose to stop abandoning the present. Anchor yourself. Feel your breath. Come home to your body. Return to now, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. The masters don't escape the storm. They find the still point within it, and that stillness becomes their power. So stop running. Start resting, in presence, in peace, in now. Restlessness loses its power the moment you choose to stay. 8. Question the voice of skepticism. What if doubt isn't wisdom, but a cage? You hear that voice often, quiet, persuasive, wrapped in logic. It tells you to wait, to hesitate, to second-guess every step forward. It says, "Are you sure you can do this?" and then disguises its fear as realism. But here's the truth Buddhism offers. Skepticism that never questions itself becomes ignorance. Not every doubt is intelligent. Some are just fear in disguise, pretending to protect you while quietly holding you back from the life you're meant to live. Doubt is a fog. It doesn't destroy. It confuses. It blurs the path, not because the path isn't there, but because you've stopped trusting your steps. And the longer you listen to that voice without challenging it, the more you build your own mental prison. We don't need to fight doubt, but we do need to question it. Because real wisdom doesn't block possibility. It tests it and lets truth rise. Imagine your dreams like a mountain covered in mist. The peak exists, the path exists, but you never move because you think fog means failure. But the only way through doubt is forward. You don't wait for certainty to show up, you build it by taking steps. That's where transformation lives. That's where courage replaces confusion. Try this. The next time doubt creeps in, pause, don't react, don't obey, just ask, is this the voice of truth or fear? The voice of fear sounds rational, but always comes with hesitation, smallness, and delay. The voice of truth is quieter, but grounded. It doesn't scream, it invites. It doesn't warn, it whispers possibility. Now reflect deeply. What belief is stopping your growth right now? Is it that you're not ready? That others are better? That it's too late for you? And then ask the more powerful question. What would happen if you just tried? If you let the doubt speak and moved forward anyway? Because you don't need to eliminate fear to make progress. You just need to stop letting it lead. Before 2025 ends, challenge your skepticism. Don't silence it, expose it, put light on it. Let action prove what doubt never could. You'll see that most of what held you back was never real. It was just untested. The mind will always offer doubt, but you decide whether it becomes a wall or a doorway. 9. Walk the edge between emotion and reason. What if wisdom is learning when to feel and when to step back? In a world that either glorifies emotional expression or numbs it with logic, balance becomes rare and mastery becomes misunderstood. You're told to trust your heart, then warned not to be too emotional. You're told to be rational, yet accused of being cold. But Buddhist wisdom doesn't pick a side. It teaches integration. The heart whispers, the mind explains. Listen to both. Neither emotion nor reason is the enemy. The imbalance is. Imagine this. A wise person walks with one foot in water and one on stone. One foot immersed in the softness of emotion, the other grounded in the stillness of reason. Emotion gives life its color, its fire, its movement. But without reason, it can burn uncontrollably. Reason brings structure, clarity, and calm. But without emotion, it turns rigid, disconnected from meaning. Mastery is not choosing one over the other. It's learning when to lean into one and when to anchor in the other. When life feels heavy, when your mind spins with what-ifs or your heart aches with intensity, don't rush to react. Pause. In that pause, ask, is this a feeling to honor or a story to question? Sometimes the tears need to fall. Sometimes the fire needs to be felt. But sometimes emotion is just an echo of old pain disguised as present urgency. And sometimes logic is just fear wearing the mask of strategy. Now reflect deeply. Do you over-identify with thoughts or feelings? Do you let your mind run wild, convincing you of failure before you begin? Or do you let emotions override reason, leading to reactions you later regret? This imbalance is where suffering hides. But balance? That's where power lives. Ask yourself, what balance are you missing? What would shift if you let your emotions breathe, but didn't let them drive? What would evolve if you used reason as a compass, not a cage? Wisdom begins when you stop swinging between extremes and start walking the edge with grace. Before 2025 ends, make it your mission to align the heart and mind, not in conflict, but in harmony. Let your feelings inform you, but not rule you. Let your thoughts guide you, but not freeze you. True emotional intelligence isn't suppression, it's navigation. You don't drown in emotion. You learn to swim in it with awareness. Mastery is not silence of emotion or domination of logic. It's walking the edge with clarity in your step and compassion in your soul. 10. Reflect until you see the truth. What if the answers you seek aren't out there, but hidden in your daily choices? You scroll, search, chase, consume. Thinking clarity lives in the next book, the next podcast, the next achievement. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, without reflection, habit becomes fate. In other words, if you don't stop to look within, you'll keep reliving the same story, just with different people, different jobs, different timelines. The cycle isn't a coincidence, it's a message, and life keeps sending it until you finally pay attention. Life is a mirror. Every situation, every reaction, every repeated frustration, it's reflecting something inside you. But most people walk past the mirror without ever really looking. They blame the reflection instead of cleaning the glass. And the glass only clears in silence. Not the silence of a quiet room, but the silence of inner honesty. That moment before sleep when the world fades and the only voice left is your own. That's where the truth lives. Imagine shining a flashlight into a dark mirror. That flashlight is reflection. The more you aim it at your habits, your thoughts, your reactions, the clearer you see the truth, not just about the world, but about you. Reflection is not dwelling, it's awakening. It's not regret, it's revelation. Sit with yourself each night and ask one powerful question. Did I live awake today? Did I choose my words? Did I control my energy? Or did I sleepwalk through my hours, ruled by noise, pulled by habits I've never questioned? Now go deeper. What pattern keeps repeating in your life? Is it burnout, conflict, sabotaging opportunities, emotional shutdown? These patterns are not punishments, they are lessons. The universe is not against you, it's just insistent. It wants you to see the root of your own suffering. And more than that, it wants you to heal it. But healing only starts when you're brave enough to stop running from the mirror. Ask yourself, what lesson is life asking you to learn before this year ends? What inner shift would change everything, even if nothing outside of you changes? Maybe it's time to break the cycle of overthinking. Maybe it's time to release the role of victim. Maybe it's finally time to take full responsibility for your choices, your peace, your path. Before 2025 ends, commit to reflecting, not just reacting. Don't just live fast, live consciously. That's where your power is. Not in knowing everything, but in seeing yourself clearly enough to change what needs to evolve. The person who reflects daily rewrites their fate, one honest question at a time. Bonus lesson: detach from the outcome, devote to the path. What if your suffering isn't because things didn't go your way, but because you needed them to? That one expectation that didn't come true, that goal that didn't deliver the happiness you imagined, that person who didn't show up the way you hoped. We cling to outcomes like lifeboats, thinking they'll save us from the uncertainty of life. But Buddhist wisdom says otherwise. Freedom begins when we stop demanding life to reward our effort. You are not here to control the ocean. You are here to learn how to surf its waves with grace. Think of your goals like climbing a sacred mountain. You think it's the peak you want, but if the mountain gave you a helicopter ride to the top, would you feel fulfilled? Probably not, because it was never just about the summit. It was about who you become on the way up. The view isn't the reward. The walker is. Every disciplined breath, every conscious step, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, that is the true treasure. Detachment isn't giving up, it's giving in to the wisdom of the journey. Close your eyes for a moment and whisper, I release the result. I walk with trust. Now imagine yourself on a foggy path. You can't see the end. You don't know where it leads. But every step you take is guided by something deeper than control: faith. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the next step. When you're present, even the fog becomes sacred, because the path is no longer a means to an end. It is the end. Ask yourself, where in your life are you attached to a result more than the growth the journey offers? Are you trying to prove something to someone? Are you waiting for success to finally feel worthy? What if who you're becoming is more valuable than anything you're chasing? Surrender isn't weakness, it's power. It's the strength to show up fully without demanding a specific reward. It's the courage to say, I give my all, and let life decide the rest. And now, pause, breathe. Let this land in your heart. Who could you become if you let go of needing a certain outcome? What new doors might open? What inner peace might return? Mastery isn't control, it's devotion. It's the quiet power of walking forward with full presence, even when the destination is uncertain. Let go of the finish line and discover the freedom of walking with purpose, not pressure. Quick summary of the lessons. Unmask the 5 inner thieves. Recognize and understand the 5 hindrances: desire, aversion, sloth, restlessness, and doubt that cloud your mind and weaken self-mastery. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming clarity. Turn emotion into enlightened awareness. Don't suppress your emotions, observe and transform them. Each emotion is a signal guiding you back to presence and deeper understanding. Harness the power of thought. Deliberately, you are not your thoughts. Direct your thinking consciously instead of letting old patterns run your life unconsciously. Channel energy into aligned action. Your energy is sacred. Stop wasting it on reactivity, and instead direct it into actions that align with your values and deeper purpose. Choose patience like a warrior. Chooses stillness. Patience is strength in disguise. It allows wisdom to mature and ensures your reactions don't sabotage your path. Build unshakable will from inner silence. True will isn't force. It's the steady commitment born from clarity, not desperation. Anchor your resolve in stillness, not stress. Face restlessness with deep-rooted presence. Restlessness is a symptom of escape. Meet it with presence, and you'll stop running from the moment you're meant to live in. Question the voice of skepticism. Doubt often pretends to be intelligence. Learn to question even your skepticism, or it will become the limit of your life. Walk the edge between emotion and reason. Mastery lies in balancing your heart and your mind. Learn when to feel, when to step back, and when to lead with inner wisdom. Reflect until you see the truth. Consistent self-reflection uncovers the truth beneath your patterns. Without it, you're just repeating the same story with a different cover. Detach from the outcome. Devote to the path. Let go of results. Attach instead to the quality of your action and the intention behind your steps. Mastery is found in devotion, not demand. You didn't come to this video just to learn. You came to remember who you are beneath the noise, to strip away all the layers of doubt, distraction, and emotional chaos, and reconnect with the part of you that's always been calm, strong, and undisturbed. Self-mastery isn't becoming someone else. It's unbecoming everything you're not. When you stop clinging to outcomes, reacting to emotion, and believing every thought, you don't lose yourself. You meet yourself. That's when peace flows effortlessly. That's when your choices start coming from truth, not tension. And that's when life quietly starts working in your favor, because you are finally working with it. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the mastery of response. Carry this with you into the days ahead. What am I holding on to that I no longer need to carry? Let it go and let yourself begin again.